good evening, and of course, I'm always late, Craig. You know me by now. Yeah, apologies about the late start tonight. Um, well, if you're watching a playback of this, you don't have to worry about that side of things. I wasn't really planning on doing anything tonight because for the past few days, I've basically drank my way through that trembling madness order. Evening, James. And by the way, evening, Craig, even though you are a sarcastic bastard, but I love you for it. Hope you're both doing well. Hope everyone's doing well, whether you're watching this live or um, on the playback. So, yeah, I wasn't really planning on actually doing any sort of like beer reviews or anything like that, but I don't know. I'm in a sort of like good evening and good evening, Paul and Riders. I'm glad someone finds it funny. But good evening to you all. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a tit wank of a day, but not in a good way, obviously. Um, Nothing specific, no specific reason why. Just, but I'm doing all right there, my lives. Could be a lot worse, but yeah. So I just thought I needed something to do tonight. So I thought I've got that Cloudwater stout. So why don't I do a live stream, do a live review, and then we can maybe talk a little bit about Cloudwater, because of course Paul has ruffled a few feathers with some of his Twitter activities, talking about like people in the Western world who have got privilege and who are taken to the streets protesting about. I can't remember the full story. I find it quite tiresome, to be honest. A big part of me thinks, do you know what? He's got something to say, and he's saying it. But then there's a part of me where it's like, whether I agree with him or not, it's like you can't really, when you are the face of a business, being outspoken's great, but at the same time, create a new Twitter, like personal Twitter, taking Cloudwater completely away from it because I don't know. I've not really seen what the backlash has been like, really. Just aside from like close circle of friends who have, at this point, are really not buying any Cloudwater. But that's a shame because you're going to get that sort of knock-on effect, really. Um, Evening, Neil. Don't worry, your stout will be coming up soon. I'll probably do that towards the end of the week. Do another live stream because I find it gets me the most views really doing the live stream, and it's a great way to get beers out there. And I'll probably throw up a little thing on Instagram as well, just to give some more exposure. Because I do prefer doing the sort of live stuff. Paul Jones is the anti McKellar. It's a good way to sum him up. Um, but yeah, I enjoy doing these live streams. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like recording the videos and stuff. And there is content for the next few weeks now that I've gone to uploading every other day. But yeah, these just seem to be a little bit more fun. And then doing stuff on Instagram as well. Um, yeah, it just sort of diversifies it really. And at the end of the day, it gets more eyes. You know, the people who aren't on Instagram can see stuff, and the people who aren't on YouTube can see stuff. And then people on both platforms can watch both if they want to. But yeah, but Neil, very much looking forward to cracking open the stout. I'm actually going to do a bit of research on that, so I've got a little bit of so we can talk about the coffee, but we won't spoil it. So today we've got as part of the is it my continuous or continual improvement? This is the chocolate orange version, which is of course an imperial stout. Classic flavor combination that represents the height of indulgence. 11% ABV. I'm a big fan of the persistence is utile stouts that I've had. I've had some other Cloudwater Imperial Stouts here and there. And don't think I've had anything from my continual improvement. But we shall see. Chocolate and orange is a classic flavour combination, but rather than the ubiquitous confectionery orb, think a luxuriant dark chocolate mousse or silky torta infused with fresh, fragrant citrus flavours. 3 different orange editions provide a decadent new dimension to our double cacao, double vanilla, my continuous improvement base. So continuous and not continual. But artwork this time from Textbook Studio. Now, I was talking to Rob from Hopscene about this, talked about it a couple of times. You know, when it comes to Cloudwater and their sort of like adjuncts and additions, they're not going to skimp on the quality. That's what I've found anyway, because he was a bit apprehensive about the idea of a chocolate orange beer. But I think it's a wonderful flavour combination because obviously I like chocolate orange, Terry's chocolate orange, that new twirl. Well, it's not really new. The twirl orange, even the Yorkie orange. Just chocolate orange is just absolutely wonderful. So I'd be really interested to see how they utilise it in this Imperial Stout. So 3 different editions. I probably should have put a little bit of a blurb in there, but once this is uploaded, and if I remember to do so, I'll put all the usual stuff I put in a normal beer review in the description. But I don't have my other phone to hand either, so I can't have a look into it. So should have thought ahead, but I didn't. But anyway, very much looking forward to this. And in fact, I'll probably be staying on a little bit after I've reviewed this because I've just thought I'd lift this out as well. Not been too impressed. I mean, they've been nice, but the left-handed giant pale beers that I've had recently, just same. And it's a real shame. But anyway, it's probably just the pick of the look of the draw or the ones that I picked, really. But anyway, we're not here to talk about other breweries, we're here to talk about Cloudwater. So, using my unbarred glass for this one. And tell you what, that is pouring absolutely beautifully, as you would expect. Give it a little bit of a swirl with the remnants of the can. Get it all in there. Oh. Ho 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 ho! Oh my word. But shush. Shush, not yet. God, it's everywhere. Complete new. I'm not using a white t-shirt to wipe off. I'll just use my pants because I need to go in the wash anyway. Yeah, bit of a mess up on the pour. Didn't lose too much though, which is always good. But I'll tell you what, didn't that pour absolutely beautifully? Let's get that stuff from here. Well, I can tell you right off the bat, it's chocolate orange. It really, really is. So let's pretend I didn't taste it and we'll give it a sniff. Oh my god. Oh wow. Think of your favourite chocolate orange chocolate. And it's just sticky mouth then. It's just absolutely reeking of orange essence. That's what I'm getting. That is absolutely ridiculous how it's like you've got cherries. I've only had a sip and I'm already stumbling over my words. Yum. Vum. I don't know. Is that? Do we have a bot in the house, or am I just assuming that my eye's terrible, so I can't really read it properly? So apologies if you're not a bot. Oh man, that is. It's smelling like you've got a dark chocolate, Terry's chocolate orange, and cracked it open, after, you know, opening the foil. Also, I'm getting a very, very specific chocolate orange matchsticks. Now, I know on the label said they're trying to like steer away from like the confectionery side of things, but nah, there's no escaping chocolate orange, like a dark chocolate orange. That just smells absolutely wonderful. And I've not tasted it yet, so let's give it a taste. Cheers, folks. Now I've took a proper sip. What is this beer really like? I know there are people out there who are like, I'm never going to buy a Cloudwater beer again. Mate, you're missing out on some beautiful, beautiful beers. I'm at a loss. I really, really am with this one. Jesus Christ. Inject the chocolate orange into my veins, although not that sure that'll help my heart valve. I'll risk it though. Got to take risks in life, Joe. You've got to take risks. Speaking of which, hope you're doing very well, my friend. I'm happy to miss out, says Craig. Man, take away the face of the brewery from the beer, and I don't know really where to start with this. And you are getting like different types of orange in there. You're getting that sort of like classic orange essence that's like mixed in with, you know, chocolate. You know, sort of like the mainstream chocolate orange. But then you're getting this sort of like character of, you know, sometimes you can get like dark chocolate, the very thin ones, and there's like little segments, little like chunks of whatever flavour. In this case, orange. So you're getting that almost like a, what's the word? Like a dehydrated, concentrated piece of orange. Sounds amazing, mate. I'm not even like close to describing this beer. It's absolutely insane. Really, really is. So you're getting that, and you're also getting a bit of there's like an acidic tang, as you would expect with it being orange. So it's sort of like got this almost unsweetened, getting very Italian. It's got some very unsweetened, like really uber fresh orange juice character to it. It comes with the territory. If you want 11% chocolate orange, you have to get on the woke train, certainly. The woke train with one stop. Well, the one stop woke train to Wokesville. And there was totally no need for me to add anything on to James's already fantastic and witty comment, but that's what the narcissist inside of me does. You're getting so many different types of orange with this one. Cho-cho. Choo-choo is your gender. Silky smooth body. Silky smooth. Big, bold, but silky smooth. There's almost like, as well, mainly because I was drinking a fair bit of it over Christmas, Tia Maria. There's this almost like vanilla-y Tia Maria character to it as well. Absolutely bonkers. It really, really is. What I like about it, though, it's got a really nice, pronounced bitter chocolate bitterness on the back end. And it lingers as well. This is one of those higher ABV stouts that gives you no indication of its ABV. It's masked almost too well. You kind of almost want to dip churros in it. It's got that sort of like, like a good hot chocolate that's not like overly sort of like bold or creamy. That's the sort of impression I'm getting as well from this. Worth the money? I can't remember what I paid for this. If anybody can have a look on Trembling Madness, I think it was about, I might be underpricing it at the moment, but I'm sure it was about £8 or something along those lines. But just for the experience of drinking something like this, worth every penny. It really, really is. It's like I mentioned at the start, you can taste the quality of all those ingredients that they've added to the stout itself. As I said, I don't think I've had any other of the or the original or other versions of my continual improvement. £8.99. Thank you, Gregory. Good evening. Thanks for. See, that's it. I depend on you guys to answer questions for me. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, £8.99. I'm happy to pay that. I'm much more happier paying £8.99 for this than I did £10 for other half broccoli, which we say it all the time, don't we? Here in the UK, anyone worth their weight in gold. Where am I going with that? Anyone, well, most breweries in the UK doing like IPAs can match some of those big hyped American ones. I had broccoli yesterday. Did a review of it. It was nice. Don't get me wrong. Quality IPA, but I was like £10 I pay for this. I'm sure I could find two very similarly hopped and ABV'd IPAs here in the UK for even less than £5 each and get much more satisfaction from it. But this is one of those ones where, it costs money. Fundamentally, it costs money to brew a beer like this. Especially if it's like part of like an ongoing sort of series. Because sometimes you're going to brew something, it's not going to work. It's like anything really. You could be brewing a beer that you've been brewing for 20 years, if not more. All it takes is one tiny little, mistake or whatever, and you've completely ruined, a batch of beer. So when you're spending that much money on all of these adjuncts and additions and all that sort of stuff, if it doesn't work, then you've got such an expensive drain pour. But yeah, the mine version is amazing. Is that the one that's sort of like a Mexican hot chocolate-ish sort of thing? It does very much remind me of the consistency of the hot chocolate you get with churros, which isn't always like dead thick and creamy. Well, it's not like thin and watery, obviously. But yeah, I mean that glass is filthy now. Chili and choc. See, I really want to try that. My God, that is so good. this is one of those examples. Let's see, does it have any sort of additional information? No, it doesn't. Doesn't even give you a slight hint of what sort of chocolate mousse. Yeah, chocolate mousse. You know, the ones you get in the little like 6-pack tubs. Not had those since I was a kid. Definitely get that with this. Three different orange editions, and I wish I'd have looked this up to see what they've used. Because surely at some point they've got to have used actual orange, as well as, you know, obviously, because there's got to be like some form of essence in there. Surely, I think that's giving that really potent sort of orange flavour you get with chocolate orange. They've got to have included physical orange in there as well. But I'm just trying to think, like maybe orange oil. And I don't know. I don't know. But what they've done, no matter how they've done it, no matter where they've sourced it from, oh, absolutely mega. And how many times have you seen a beer that says, "Oh, this is a, you know, a tiramisu, blah blah blah, imperial stout. Tastes nothing like tiramisu. This is a Forest Gatto imperial porter. Tastes nothing like a Forest Gatto. Peanut butter and jelly stout. Just tastes like generic nuttiness." This is. You wanted chocolate orange? You're getting chocolate orange. To say you get chocolate orange by the bucket load is an absolute understatement. I mean, I suppose you would still technically count this as packaged on the 12th of December, so very much a last minute contender of best beer of 2021 for me. My choice for best beer of last year, again, very much a last minute contender, would have been the barrel aged version of Language Barrier by Track. Well, man, I tell you what, drinking this now, there's not much between those two. Evening, Craig. I hope you're doing well, my friend. And I hope you're drinking something as absolutely gorgeous as this. Ooh, man. One thing I like about it specifically, although I don't really have much of a problem when beers are really sweet, the sweetness is really reined in. It's bitter chocolate, like a good quality. You know, pay a little bit extra for your chocolate sort of thing. Always wanted to pick up one of the NCI series. Hard to justify the cost though. I completely get you, and I'm very much like that. But then my mood changes, and I'm just like, sometimes I just act on impulse. I'm like, I'll add it, and then it's done. That's sort of what I did with this Tremblant Madness order, just to get it over that free delivery threshold. Could have probably got about 4 or 5 more less expensive beers to bulk up the order, but I thought, you know what, it's just after Christmas. Bit of a shitty Christmas. Well, it wasn't a shitty Christmas. It was a nice Christmas. Bit of a New Year, as some of you guys know by my depressing posts on Instagram and stuff. So I thought, you know what? First proper beer purchase for the year. I'll throw in a few special ones. And I think I would, even though it cost me £9 from Tremblant Madness, right now I would pick up another can. I don't buy beers like this regularly. So it is once every now and then I'll basically pay for 2 beers for one, essentially. It's what it is. But if you just wanted to treat yourself and have an absolutely stunning drinking experience, then this is mega. I'm not too sure if they've had this on tap. at Unit 9. But that'll be a good way to try it without, committing to a can, I suppose. I think we may be going to Cloudwater, me and Rob, when we're going up to track, which, by the way, I think we might be doing a couple of live streams of videos whilst in track, on here and on Instagram, so that'll be fun. And I'm sure. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, apologies about that. Call came through, and I think it completely interrupted the stream. Can anybody hear me right now? No, I clicked onto Instagram, for fuck's sake. Utter bollocks. Can anyone hear me? Am I still stream proper? Because I know sometimes if you get interrupted, it completely throws the stream off completely. Completely throws the stream off completely. Shut the fuck up, Peter. That's always. Trying to call again. I've got a feeling it's going to happen a few more times, so I apologise. Yeah, so yeah, it is still on. I think that'd be a really good way. Obviously, if you're in Manchester, but then again, if you're more London way, it wouldn't surprise me if they've got this on at the location in London as well. But yeah, really good way of trying this beer. And from what I remember, even on their like Imperial stuff, prices at the tap room aren't that bad, really. But no, I would highly recommend. Next time you're doing a beer order and you see this, sacrifice another beer, and pick this one up, because I think it is worth the price to give it a try. It's decadent as fuck, and it's a silly stout without being too silly. If that makes any sense. Fragrant, very much so. That orangey fragrant character is just astronomically gorgeous. It really, really is. This is an amazing beer. Very, very impressed with this. As soon as I saw chocolate orange, I was like, I love chocolate orange. There's always that chance you're going to get disappointed because it doesn't deliver on the chocolate nor the orange. This one definitely does. Again, not sure what sort of additions they've used of orange, but there's 3 different types, and those 3 different types work beautifully with the high quality cacao that they've used and the vanilla and what other adjuncts they've included there. Is it gloopy? I don't know. It's one of those weird things, really. I mean, it doesn't look too much. I'll just keep fucking pressing red and not answering your call. Is it gloopy? I've had. Fuck. I wish this person would just fuck right off, really. Ruining my stream? It is a bit gloopy, yeah. I've had thicker, bolder, more outrageous sort of stouts, but this really does have the texture of hot chocolate made with proper chocolate and not just powder. But you will probably find a lot thicker and gloopier. But it's so damn satisfying. I cannot stress enough how amazingly tasty this beer is. God, it's weird, even just like holding it in your mouth, just coating your palate, getting all those taste buds picking up different things. It is by far the best chocolate orange beer that I've ever had. And as far as Cloudwater's stouts go, biased because of the flavours, for me, it's up there with one of Cloudwater's best. It really, really is. Just listen to that. Just look at how dirty it is making that glass. I feel like I could peel a layer of the beer off them, like the roof of my mouth. Nearly bought it the other day, but held off with the price. Like I said, Greg, I can totally see that. That happens to me a hell of a lot. But sometimes, like I said, I just like, oh, that sounds really good. I'm gonna have it. Put it in the basket, order it quick, because the more I think about it, the more chance I've got of taking it out of the basket. But as a one-off treat for yourself, which I'm sure you deserve, Greg, I'm sure you deserve. I'm not trying to push any products onto people, because I'm not a shill, although I would happily rest in the back pockets of breweries like Cloudwater. I would sell my soul in a heartbeat. I really, really would. No, as I've always said, if I find a beer shit, I'll say it's shit. If it's the best thing since sliced bread, you'll know it's the best thing since sliced bread. If it's one that I've bought, I've been given, or been asked to review, doesn't matter. If I don't like it, I'll tell you I don't like it. If I like it, I'll tell you I like it. No one's ever accused me of being a shill, so I don't know why I'm going on this tangent. But oh man, there's so much in there that I've not even like scratched the surface of how amazing this beer is. All I'm tasting now is just dark chocolate. Just tons and tons of dark chocolate. But it's just, even the burps taste nice. You get loads of orange on the burp. God, I wish now I'd have bought a selection of different chocolate oranges, or different chocolates and orange. How many times am I going to say chocolate orange in this video? And just pair it, dip it in. Oh, imagine, oh man, this beer with a chocolate orange donut. Jesus, that would just be. I will happily take the heart attack here and there and then, whichever choice of phrase you want to use in that situation. You get this like sort of sensation, it's expanding slightly in your mouth. Take that as you will. Follow on with an innuendo, with another innuendo. But yeah, I've just realised this random plaque that I've got on my thing, whatever your Saturn box, has a similar sort of design as the can itself. Pointless tidbit for you from a big tip. Dip it in, exactly. God, even like just stick your fingers in and just scoop it up. Don't do that. Especially if it's not your beer. Yeah, since it like gushed over the sides, this glass is just ridiculously sticky. But yeah, to sum it up in a matter of words, pure chocolate orange. And it's one of those very few occasions where you read what the beer is. You read the, very imaginatively written description on the back, and you get exactly what they are saying it is. And but that being said, some people might try and think, yeah, it's all right. Oh, I've had better. Fair dues. If you've had better than this, I want to know what you've been drinking, because this to me is blowing me away. The more I'm talking, I'm slightly salivating as I talk, and it's like picking up all of those. Like, this is disgusting. You don't need to know this, but it's sort of like regurgitating the flavors in my mouth. What a horrible, horrible, horrible image. And yeah, listen, I don't really want to go too much into detail about the whole like Paul from Cloudwater stuff, because I've met him once. That was in Port Street Beer House. That was before I even knew who he was, really. And I was just like, and you go to like a good bar, and you're like looking at the board for maybe a little bit too long. And I didn't realise it was him at first. Paul was sat at the bar there, and he like leans over and goes, "Hey pal, why don't you try that Thornbridge? Really bloody good." That was a terrible impression of Paul from Cloudwater. And I was, oh, thank you. So I tried it. It was really nice. Went, sat down. And I think I must have watched. Do you remember when he did that presentation at like a Brewers conference a few years ago? I was like, I recognise him. And then I think I must have messaged the beer group on Facebook, and they're like, yeah, no, that's Paul from Cloudwater. That's like one of those weird things. In the grand scheme of things, a brewer isn't really a celebrity. I suppose the closest you could probably get is what's his face from Brooklyn, just because his face is out there. And what's his face who founded Sierra Nevada? I suppose they could be classed as celebrities, because they'll be on like beer documentaries and stuff, and in popular culture and that sort of stuff. But I was like kind of starstruck, and there was that whole palaver about independent retailers at the start of like lockdown and things like that. Didn't really rub people up the right way at all. The whole Brewdog brewing their beers for Tesco's, and the final product really not being any good at all. I think they sort of annoy people with the that box that they did in Tesco's, where you get 4 different beers from 4 different breweries. To me, I thought that was just like the lost sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Missed opportunity of missed opportunities. There was like I can't remember what the brewery's called, but there was a brewery involved in that. That was it South African? And they were a brewery that were, because I think one of the owners comes from there. God, I think I sound like Nigel Farage trying to explain a foreign person right now. I don't intend to come across like that, but yeah, and their like ethos is based on, it's a very cultural sort of ethos, and they had like a pale ale or an IPA in there. And it's like, well, sort of like incorporate flavors from your own culture in there. Give it a bit of a twist. I know it's going into a mainstream supermarket, but I couldn't really see that box selling much anyway at that price point. So fuck it, take a risk. Take a risk. Like, brew a beer that really celebrates your culture and heritage. But no, it's just like an IPA or a pale ale. There's a fucking low ABV beer in there, though, non-alcoholic beer in there as well. It's like, come on, guy, pal, chap, whatever names Paul will use. So I'm not gonna, jump on the I hate Paul from Cloudwater bandwagon. I just think when it comes to expressing your political and social beliefs, it's great to see socially conscious um, companies out there. But at the same time, some of the rhetoric that, because he's a very clever, insightful, and humanist person. That's the impression I get from Paul from Cloudwater. I would happily love to just sit and have a conversation with him. Um, I'm sure we've got views on things that we vehemently disagree on, but I'd like to think that no matter whether I agree or disagree with whatever opinions you have, I'm gonna just talk. I'm still gonna talk to you like a human being. I won't, get on the defensive or offensive. I won't. As soon as I finish that conversation, turn around to someone else. Can't believe what he's just told me. Then I'm not that sort of person. If it's like a really vile sort of viewpoint and thing, something like that, yeah, then I'm gonna say, well, I think you're fucking stupid and ignorant. I think that's actually a really prickish way of seeing the world or a certain collective and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think that sort of stuff does attract unwanted attention to your company, which he's worked very hard and got himself into a wonderful position as one of the best breweries in the UK, and definitely one that helped. Although Manchester's always had a brewing heritage, obviously with J.W. Lee's, and over the years the craft beer side of things has really picked up in Manchester over the past 10, 20 years. It's a very historical and pioneering places. Obviously, Marble, classic example. Although a lot of people would deem Marble as a very problematic brewery at this point in time. But we're not here to comment on that. And I can't really comment on that because I bought a lot of Marble in these past few weeks and months, even. So yeah, it's like what he posted about like the Western privilege and things like that. I'm like, if you're going to pin the tail on the anti-COVID sort of narrative, there's people of all cultures who are very against getting vaccines, who are, vocally airing their disdain regarding how we've coped this and restrictions. It's almost like adding this, like one single-minded approach and generalizations based on no evidence. I think was he specifically talking about the protests in like Austria or somewhere like that? And I'm like, if you look at these crowds of people, it's very multicultural because it's something that's affecting everyone on the planet. And to like sort of almost have this angle of, because I'm sure he even mentioned like white, like Caucasian, Western. I'm completely paraphrasing and misrepresenting his opinion, because I just saw like the thread of tweets and people were talking about it, and I was like, it is what it is, really. It's not going to stop me from buying beer, even if it was a viewpoint that I'm very not violently against. That's terrible rhetoric to say, but even if it was a staunch opinion that I'm very much against, I still wouldn't stop buying stuff I enjoy just because I don't agree with the ideals of those involved. But at the same time, I completely understand why people are like that, and you almost get this sort of view that Cloudwater, if they carry on with how they have been over this past year and a half, 2 years, you potentially get to that point where you're walking on thin ice, and it's going to affect your employees. It's going to affect business relations. Um, I think the main thing that I disagree with Sorry, I got interrupted again. It like stops load, so if I repeat myself, I apologise. I'm gonna wrap this up now anyway. So, um, yeah, it's like do it under like a personal account and not pull from Cloudwater. Do you know what I mean? And then even using Cloudwater's own social media platforms for some posts, like they did with that whole independent retailers and direct sales sort of stuff that they were talking about, which really did rub a lot of people up the wrong way, especially in the industry. But yeah, it's like you've got to be careful nowadays. It's not just, well, I'm not just talking about cancel culture. I'm talking about just in general. Things like that can really harm businesses, no matter what side of whatever debate you're on, no matter how left leaning or right leaning you are, or how even centrist you are. It's very shaky ground, that sort of stuff. And it's going to end up stopping people from purchasing your product. Which, you could easily argue, well, if they don't want to buy from us, we've got plenty of other people who will buy. And you never know, these sorts of opinions might bring more business to Cloudwater. It's one of those weird things, isn't it? It's like there's no sort of right or wrong, really. Just like there's no right or wrong opinions about the whole matter. But am I going to stop buying Cloudwater? Because I bought these just before it all kicked off. Although I don't think there's been that much of a kickoff compared to what was said earlier last year, and the sort of like change of direction that Cloudwater had, and then reversed it, and then he sort of tried to either pander or apologise to those who they did, negatively affect. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Really, the best thing is it forms conversations and debate and talking about things that you wouldn't necessarily talk about. And I think the brewing industry, for all its faults and some of the real horror stories that are coming out, it's like it's good that we can have these discussions. I mean, it should be as inclusive as it possibly. Everything should be as inclusive as it possibly should be. But you sort of making generalizations, alienating, people who have essentially done nothing wrong and nothing to warrant it. So it's a weird situation, really. But I'll still buy Cloudwater. I still enjoy their beers. Had a wonderful IPA for something on Facade Street or something like that, and that was absolutely beautiful. Really, really was. So as long as I keep enjoying their beers, that's I'm going to keep on enjoying their beers. I've not been to Unit 9 for ages. Might go there next week with Rob. But it's one of those things, really, isn't it? One of those beers where you drink carefully so you don't tip it or drop it on the floor. Very much so. Opened it, poured way too much in the glass when I started, so it did spew out over the sides. Like one of those, annoying photos on brewery social medias where every fucking beer that they're advertising is overflowing in a glass. I don't understand that. Why is that like a way to promote beer by wasting it for photos? I don't know, but yeah, it definitely. It's almost it's almost as if Cloudwater are woke enough, aren't woke enough. Yeah, I mean, you can they are. It's I think dangerous is a bit of an extreme, but I'm going to use it. Dangerous. They are treading very very dangerous territory, and I hope it doesn't have any sort of implications for them, because I think they're a wonderful brewery. Yeah, sometimes they can come across as a little bit too idealistic. There are people within that organisation who I just don't agree with on certain viewpoints. that's the beauty of, discourse. And they are, very inclusive. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. I've had dealings with Lily Waite on forums from a few years ago. And she probably doesn't know who the fuck I am, really. I don't think most people in the industry know who I am. And I think that's good, because if they ever saw some of this shit I say in my reviews of some of their beers, they'd be like, I don't want him coming to our premises anymore. Evening, Thomas. I hope you're doing well. I'm just about to wrap this one up. So you've come at just the right time. The end is usually the best time in my videos anyway. They are so embroiled in Manchester as a whole, I think they'll always have a decent local following. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely agree with that. But it's like Lily Waite. She came across to me as one of those people who you really can't have a differing opinion of. You can't have a different opinion. And I can't remember what it was. Was it, which brewery was it in the Netherlands? And in their tap room, they had like a big sort of like photo canisters on the wall of like I think it was like a photograph of a woman in a sort of like very suggestive, sexualized sort of way. And I can't remember what the whole debate was, but I think, because I can't really remember what I said, but I'd never say anything horrible or anything like that. But I just said something very innocent and just offering a slightly different view. I think it's one of those ones where it's not necessarily your viewpoint. You just point out to your first. Well, some people might see it as this, and I just remember getting absolutely attacked. Not to the point where I was like crying and I had to get off the internet or anything like that. But I was like, you can't really have, you can't be like that. You've got to be open to different viewpoints. But yeah, again, I got nothing against anyone at Cloudwater. I'd love to do like podcasts with them, get them on the stream, have discussions, that sort of stuff. Although I'm not the most confident of people outside, very self-conscious, and do get a bit anxious at times. But yeah, I just think they're brewing really good beer. But at their core, they seem to be really decent people. I don't have to agree with every opinion that they have, but I just think they've got to be careful on an individual employee basis of what they share on social media. But again, it's like, should they have to worry about airing their views and opinions online if we live in like a democratic society? It's like, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have a concise sort of answer. But what I got from this latest thing was, Paul, I don't think you should be using that platform to air your views and opinions, because you've got Cloudwater in your Twitter handle. So But anyway, it is what it is. Fundamentally, I still think Cloudwater, one of the best breweries in the UK. I'm definitely wrapping this up now because she's doing my tits in. It's a friend from work who's so desperate for a cigarette. Friend from work who, mid-20s, is too afraid to admit to her own parents that she smokes. So most nights I have to go out my house and have a cigarette, and it does my fucking tits in. She'll never watch this, so I can do that. Although I'm sure a couple of friends from work do watch these. you probably know who it is. But anyway, yeah, this is an absolutely stunning beer. Like I said, a little bit pricey. Not too bad though in the grand scheme of things. And to me, um, it's delivered, well, it's beyond delivered what I was expecting. And to me, it's worth every single penny. And I would happily pick up another can of this. I might do, and if we do visit Cloudwater next week, or at least have some on tap. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Really, really. Drink it as fresh as you can as well, because you do not want those orange flavours to fade. Although I would be really interested to see them do a barrel-aged version of this. Don't just put it in a bourbon barrel. Put it in something a little bit imaginative. Like, I can imagine maybe a port barrel could be interesting. Or a Madeira barrel. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And it's turned my glass brown. Look at that. Man, beautiful stuff. Really, really is. Anyway, folks, so thank you for watching this, whether it's live or on the playback. I'm just very suggestively rubbing my legs, trying to get those last few views in from the female audience, but will never happen. But yeah, lovely stuff indeed. I know I said I was going to do a little bit of discussion about Cloudwater. Didn't really end up being a discussion about Cloudwater. I think that's something that I'd have to do with other people on the stream, because I think it's something that would be interesting to talk about. But thank you for watching, James. Thank you for your continued support as well, and that message that you sent me on Instagram last night. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird sort of 48 hours, to say the least. But I had a good conversation with Rob last night on his channel, and he had a really good conversation after the stream as well. And that's what it's all about for me. You know, it's like in line with this beer, my continual improvement. I've been learning a lot about myself, really. Made some realizations. I've started like an art page on Instagram, and at the moment it's just me going through like my MacBook and old sort of like Flickr accounts and blogs, and just getting all pieces of art and photos that I've done over the years. Stumbled across some DVDRs that had some photos of me and the person who I was in a relationship with back in Germany, and you know, just sort of flooded all those memories back. And yeah, I've always said never dwell on anything you can't change. But I've been very guilty of that recently, and I've been just trying to find any way I can to distract myself, and that's why I love doing these live streams, and I love talking to you guys. I love the interaction. I like joining other people's streams when you know I've got good people around me, and that's what it's all about, really. So my continual improvement for this year is to just be a better, happier person, and a much more creative and constructive person. And I don't know what voice this is, but I kind of like it. I'm going to stick with it for like the rest of the stream, because it's like really wow. It's like a really good voice, like especially if you're trying to be emotive and stuff. It's like wow. I mean, this beer is absolutely like fucking hell. It's bonkers. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's such a beautiful beer. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Yeah, go check out Cloudwater. I'd love to hear your thoughts, opinions in the comments on the playback of this video as well. Maybe we'll do a bit of a discussion video further down the line. Who knows? Is it worth, you know, investing time talking about this sort of stuff, or should we just concentrate on the beer? I'm sure there's different opinions. That's what it's all about. But fundamentally, if you see this beer and you've been a bit put off by the price, Uncle Peter says give it a go, give it a try. And if you're in Manchester and you can get to Cloudwater's tap room, go to the tap room and give it a taste, because it's absolutely beautiful. It's literally every chocolate orange sort of like beer you've wanted to try, and they've done an absolutely wonderful job, and you can just taste the quality in it. But yeah, there will be more information in the description, like Untapped and that sort of stuff. Hopefully I can find a bit more information about the sorts of orange that they've used. And yeah, anyway, I'm off to go for a cigarette with an annoying cunt of a person. But they're a good friend, so I suppose I'll have to just take it on the chin. Anyway, cheers for watching, folks. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching this on the playback. And I shall hopefully see you all very soon. And I've done the thumbs up 3 times in a row. Just end the stream and shut